in this ministry. It was definitely a joint venture, okay? My interest in the plight of the houseless started with a book mentioned by a visiting minister at the church we were attending. It was entitled Under the Overpass and was written by Michael Jankowski. He and a young friend who were concerned about the houseless set out to learn of this population's struggles firsthand. They spent a good part of 1 year on the streets. Among many other sad incidences, the author related the story about how he and his buddy were cruelly treated in a church they visited. That story stunned me and broke and spoke to my heart. I felt a call to serve the houseless. The year was 2011. I was retiring from my 23 years at UCSB, but had no idea of how to get to know or serve them. I asked Doug to come with me to a park in Isla Vista. It's Perfect Park, isn't it? Is that the name of it? Yeah. Close to the university. It's the big one. Our idea was to get to know some of the houseless that I had seen there. So what we decided to do was sit down at a picnic table and start a game of cards. Sure enough, our first needy friend walked up and asked what game we were playing and if he could join us. We fell in love with Ron, a former professor who had a grandson attending UCSB. He introduced us to others at the park, including Clyde, definitely the godfather among the Isla Vista houseless. We felt welcomed right away. Around that time, I attended a memorial service on East Beach in honor of the many houseless who had died the prior year. A very emotional experience. At that occasion, I was introduced to John Butney, who was very active with the houseless at that time in Santa Barbara. I asked him what I could do that was closer to my home in Goleta. He referred me to Jill Wallerstedt, a loving advocate from the St. Bridget Ministry, houseless in Isla Vista, working at the temporary St. Athanasius Church in Portables, very close to the Ivy Park. She warmly welcomed me to her ministry. I got to know and love and appreciate many more houseless friends and found my main calling to be, surprise, supplying them with clothes. One day, in walked Pastor Ron Cox and Sonia Renda from Christ Lutheran Church with some used clothing. Little did I know the part they would later play in the shower ministry. One night I especially remember the St. Bridget staff held a meeting with our houseless friends in the church building, where we listened to their concerns and assigned people to attempt to address those. One huge concern was a place to shower. I offered to see what I could find nearby. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I virtually tried everything I could, including the university gym, houseless not allowed, beach showers, brr, too cold, and El Capitan, too far away. One day, I was working in the portables when Jill excitedly called me to come to her office. On her computer, she had a picture of a shower trailer down in the Tujunga area, owned and operated by the San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission. I felt we now had the answer for what we needed, if we could ever afford it. When St. Athanasius moved to their new building, and Jill asked us to take the houseless ministry to Goleta, Doug and I formed a steering committee called HEAL, lots of people out there, which met at Christ Lutheran Church with Ron Cox and Sonia Renda, among others, in attendance. Our first guest to speak to us was a houseless friend, Rick, from Goleta, who said he needed a shower. Out of this steering committee came the meetings at the Goleta Valley Community Center called meet and greet. These meetings were designed to get to know our houseless friends, and their questionnaires we asked them to fill out stated again and again their desire for a place to shower. By that time, we had the message. Several of us from the HEAL group took a trip to Tahunga to view the shower ministry that we'd been hoping for. We returned with a passion for finding and funding a shower trailer